Welcome, Pein. You are international master. You have a big bookshop. It's called Chess and Bridge.
Uh-huh.
And you are CEO of Chess in Schools. You're doing many more things. I almost doubt if it's necessary to introduce you. And you, with your Chess School Foundations, from the beginning on, you were sponsoring this London Chess Conference.
Yes, yes.
And can we, maybe you can tell us something about the added value of this conference?
Sure. I mean, maybe 10 years ago now, we'd run several London Chess Classics, I think 4.
And the tournaments for the people.
I think, which is a world-class tournament. The world-class tournament was always there to support the charity, mainly through fundraising and awareness, and had large numbers of children coming every year. And we thought, well, how can we amplify this? And I thought that convincing schools that chess was a good thing needed some intellectual underpinning. I would call it some intellectual support, perhaps you could say. And John Foley and Stefan Loeffler and I sort of got our heads together, and we had the idea of having a conference. And for me, this was a bit of a vague idea, but John and Stefan carved it into something more real. And I think the first one we did was on the subject of chess and mathematics. And it's funny we're doing that now 10 years on again, but things have moved. But I think it's still a very, very important part of the credibility of the Chess in Schools program, that there are so many links to mathematics, that we can train mathematical thinking through chess. And so we had the first conference at the London Chess Classic, just in one of the side rooms, just when the side room was free, I think, when there wasn't any games going on or something like that. I think that's what we did it, and gradually it grew, and then it grew to the point that we needed an external venue, so we moved to places outside Olympia where the tournament was. And then we started to record the sessions, get a wider group of people. We covered a lot of topics over the years, and now it's got to the point where it's moved into a more formal academic setting that I think is perfect, actually, for the conference. The fact that the London Chess Classic no longer exists, or is unlikely to anyway, doesn't matter. The conference lives on. And as I said, I think it's the most important that professionals in the field get a chance to gather, obviously, and to exchange ideas, and for us to see the latest research and developments in delivering chess in the classroom, or delivering it online as it's increasingly done now. So from that point of view, I think it's invaluable, and that's why I think it's a very good use of the charity's money to be the biggest sponsor and make sure that it happens.
Well, I expect not directly, but in the long run you will say people stimulating here each other, stimulating research. Research will be converted in practice. Best practices will be researched also. What do you see back of it in chess in the schools, or maybe in the long term?
Well, you see, what it does is it validates the work of everyone working in chess in schools, and it stimulates them to try new ideas. It brings new ideas into the classroom. And I think one thing that it could do, maybe that we should look into a little bit more, is trying to reach out to decision makers in education to get them a little bit more involved in what we do. I think that's something that we could maybe do better in the future. But certainly for chess tutors and people developing classroom methods, I think it's absolutely essential that we have this conference every year.
Yeah, and I also this year I saw maybe a dozen people of teachers from chess in the schools, and they seem to be really excited.
No, of course. I mean, we encourage everyone, all of our tutors, to take part in the conference. I mean, there's just a limited amount of space here, which is one issue. But of course, you can now follow it online, and the broadcast was of very high quality this year. So I think this is an enormous.
And it's recorded. You can see it afterwards.
And it's recorded. It's a permanent resource. Quite right. So all 150 of our tutors can look at it if they want to, you know.
Yeah. And also an important development, I think, I see big progress made by the FIDE Education Commission.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been a critic of the FIDE Education Commission ever since 2018 when it was formed. I don't think it was necessarily on the right track, but now with Jerry running it and Rita, I'm very confident it's going to achieve a lot, and it's great to see it an integral part of this conference, because there's absolutely no reason why every single organisation concerned with chess in education should not be involved. I mean, everyone should be involved in this conference. There's just no reason why not. But in the past, we've had very limited contact with the FIDE Education Commission, and very limited cooperation. But that's completely different now, so that's great too.
Yeah. What you attended today? Were there special takeaways that you were impressed, or you were happily surprised, or?
I think the first impression I got when I saw the list of people, and it was obviously confirmed when I walked in, was the level of the people that we had. We had a lot of very influential people, both in the chess business, in academia, and just in chess generally. And I think that for me was very pleasing. The other thing was that there were a few people I hadn't seen before, which is great. It's always nice to see new people in the field.
Yeah.
And it was also nice to see some innovations in the field of chess and maths, and you know, to know that the people are still thinking about it, people are still trying to come up with new ideas. I mean, one of the things that we're doing in the charity is trying to develop a course on chess and AI, and I got some ideas for that today, which is great.
Yeah. Any wishes for the future?
Only that it carries on. Only that it carries on. I mean, I'd like it to grow a bit. I think there's room for it to grow a little bit here, but only a limited amount. It's a shame because, you know, the amount of money to put this together isn't that much, really, in the general scale of things. And I think that perhaps we need to work a little bit harder if we want. I mean, I think we could have it here again in a year for the next year or so, but maybe in future I'd like to see it go to an even bigger conference centre within a university, perhaps, you know, somewhere where we could put 500 people in the room.
We just take over a few extra buildings here.
Yeah, but you know, you can only have one session. If you're gonna, I like the way John's done it this time. I like the way it's been organised, that there's just one session going on at a time. I think it's certainly easier administratively, but it just feels that, if you like, these sessions have been filtered to the extent that we're only getting the good stuff. You know,
again?
We're only getting the good stuff.
Yeah.
We're getting high quality presentations. Some of the topics maybe in previous years a little esoteric. You know, we had these breakout rooms here, breakout rooms there.
Yeah, that was in the past maybe better, discussion groups.
And I like this format better, I've got to say.
This format?
Yeah. And I think this format, of course, lends itself much better to an online broadcast as well.